Yellowstone just wrapped up with a bang, and fans are eager to find out if this will be the last they see of the Dutton family. Guess what? It's not. The show must go on. But wait, there's a catch. The show is getting a sixth season, but there's a massive change that will blow everyone's minds. Let's see what all the buzz is about, because if there's news of Yellowstone reviving on screen, it's going to change everything. So how will the story pick up? That's a really good question. So much happened in the fifth season that it's hard to keep track. The on-screen drama was just as intense as what was happening behind the scenes. Let's just say John getting written off the show wasn't a coincidence, nor was it planned. But before getting into the off-screen drama, let's take a quick recap of what went down in the series finale. Because how will they pick up the story for a sixth season? Should they even call it that? So many questions. Okay, so the Dutton family has to settle scores with pretty much everyone. Adopted sons, rival tribes, politicians, you name it. In all honesty, who wouldn't want their hands on the largest ranch in Montana? Plus, at this point in the show, they're not even focusing on the ranch. There's a lot more at stake. The first part of the fifth season showed a lot of promise. It had everything a show should have. Questions on what's yet to unfold and where things will go with all the massive changes. In A Knife and No Coin, a lot of cliffhangers were set in stone. John was appointed as the governor of Montana. No one expected that twist because everyone thought Jamie was going to have a larger role in politics. Speaking of the black sheep of the family, how was he going to react to the sudden change? On top of that, John formed an alliance with Thomas Rainwater to block the president's plans for gas pipelines. Jamie decided it was time to file an article of impeachment against his own father. Call it a declaration of war, if you will. If anyone was going to be governor of Montana, the last person it was going to be was John, of all people. He had his own beef to settle with his sister Beth. After finding out he was going to impeach their father, she wanted to take matters into her own hands and deal with the threat. But get this! Just as John and Beth decided it was time to take Jamie to the dreaded train station, the show was met with a bunch of problems behind the scenes. Was the second part of the season finale ever going to make it on screen? The first part aired in November 2022, and the showrunners were far from writing a blueprint for the series finale. When things got worse, Kevin Costner decided to show his true colors. You see, when devoting your career to a long-term show like Yellowstone, a lot of other projects have to be put on hold. Just look at the cast of Euphoria or Stranger Things. Those actors are finding it impossible to break free from the shackles of those shows. Costner had the same bittersweet relationship with Yellowstone. He appreciated the show, yes, but found it was getting in the way of his personal passion projects that he'd been trying to work on for years. For example, he's been working on the script for his fourth directorial feature, Horizon, An American Saga. Costner has been brainstorming this project since 2022 and is only now taking its first steps after parting ways with Taylor Sheridan and the rest of the Dutton family. In case you were wondering, no, there wasn't a massive brawl on set or controversies that led to contract terminations. Costner, being the Hollywood megastar he is, wanted a say in the creative aspect of the show. He argued with Sheridan about how his character was written in some episodes. There were also a ton of scheduling conflicts, since Costner would take time off to work on Yellowstone. Fun fact, he once showed up on set only to find out they hadn't even written the lines for his scene yet. Okay, any sane person would want to quit then and there. So when the news broke that Costner was no longer part of Yellowstone before they started shooting the grand conclusion, fans were left in a frenzy. Was there going to be a solid ending? Would they replace Costner with a doppelganger? Did Jamie put a curse on the show that transcended fiction and reality? Luckily, Sheridan and the rest of the Yellowstone team announced a second part to Season 5. Some considered it the sixth season of the series, and it only made sense with how things started. The second part opens with the death of John Dutton. This is like starting an Avengers movie with the team attending Captain America's funeral. How could they do this? On top of that, John's demise was written off-screen, meaning the turn of events wasn't shown at all. Was this the biggest downgrade in history, or the smartest decision a showrunner ever made? Either way, the episode titled Life is a Promise began with John's funeral. Of all his children, Beth was the one most affected. She swore to avenge her father because she knew exactly who took his life. In other words, Jamie had to up his security by 1,000-fold. Meanwhile, Case decided to sell the Yellowstone Ranch back to the Broken Rock Indian Reservation, the original owners of the land. Best decision or worst? This alone had fans divided. Case was either the biggest idiot on the face of the earth or the smartest and most humble man ever. But there was a lot more at stake than just the ranch. The story was about more than just some property. There was going to be another Dutton funeral, and by the looks of it, it wasn't going to be Beth's. Long story short, Jamie was the one sent to the train station, while Beth and Rip moved away from the Yellowstone Ranch. Teeter also secured a new position at Bosque Ranch. New beginnings, right? It's those very new beginnings that open new doors for the Yellowstone franchise and universe. Yes, you heard that right. With how things are moving in the writer's room, Sheridan plans on turning this into a whole extended universe. Well, he's kind of already started with the prequel and sequel series, which, by the way, are doing incredibly well. So wait, there's more Yellowstone? Absolutely. 1,883 aired back in 2021 and gave fans a taste of what the lives of the Dutton ancestors were like. Here, James Dutton and his family embark on a journey from Texas to their promised land of Montana. In other words, you're witnessing the Dutton family claim the ranch that's a major part of Yellowstone's plot. Moving on to 1923, this show is set 40 years after the events of 1883. See? They're all connected. You're really getting that classic franchise feel with these shows. 1923 features Hollywood powerhouses Harrison Ford and Helen Mirren, starring as Jacob and Cara Dutton. They face new challenges on the ranch, like political complications and the effects of the First World War. Speaking of wars, 1944 explores the Duttons during the Second World War. Yes, some characters actually get drafted, and the show picks up from there. Sheridan promises that Yellowstone fans will see this show at some point. There's a high chance it will contain characters from 1923 and raise the stakes even higher. Many believe Spencer and his family will be the protagonists of the prequel series. All of this is pretty neat. But are there shows that have nothing to do with the Dutton family? Many people think that would be a really cool way to explore the universe even more. Yellowstone 6666 is a spin-off focused on the 4-6's ranch in Texas. The location was mentioned in the original series and is expected to follow Jimmy Herdstrom as he learns the ways of the ranch. No, not a single Dutton will step foot on screen. Well, they might, but they won't have a major role in the series as a whole. The Madison, on the other hand, tells the story of a New York City family who moves to the Madison River Valley in Montana. A new family is always a great way to pick up the pace of the story. But if anyone wants to see proper continuity, wait until you find out one of the original family members is getting her own show. Yes, Beth and Rip are going to be front and center in their very own spin-off series. Everyone wants to see these two raise a family and explore their pasts. Oh, and who can forget dealing with all the trauma from the series finale? There's just so much potential in Yellowstone. Fans are on their knees hoping Sheridan works his magic and delivers greatness yet again. What do you think? Will Yellowstone get its well-deserved sixth season spin-off? Or should the story end where it did? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Leave a like and hit that subscribe button to see more content. See you in the next video.